Creator Weekly Live for September 8th, 2024. Today, I'm going to be talking about updates from YouTube for YouTube Shorts and for partners. More information about what happens if you get an invalid activity deduction. There's updates for Twitch, Medium, how Google search shows your social media posts, and more. So strap in. If you're here live, say hello in the chat. Let me know what you think about this week's updates. As always, you can get all of this week's updates and links in this week's newsletter. There is a link in the video description. You can also subscribe to get the newsletter every week by email. Every Saturday, it's free, so check it out. I want to start, first of all, by talking about an update on YouTube, which is something people have wanted for a really long time. YouTube now lets you customize the thumbnail that shows on your shorts. This is a screen grab that I'm showing, but you can watch the demo video from YouTube. Basically, when you upload shorts using the YouTube Shorts editor, you have the option to select a screen grab as the thumbnail. This is the way it's been for a long time. Now you can also customize that by adding filters, make the image look a little bit different, and text. So these are tools that you can have right when you're uploading the short. The other update is that you can now customize this thumbnail when you are going through your shorts in the mobile app. So you can add these customized thumbnails to shorts that you've already uploaded. That means that you can upload on desktop. Up until now, if you uploaded the short on desktop, YouTube would just pick a frame to be the thumbnail. And sometimes it was good, and sometimes it was bad. Some of mine are like, weird faces. So now you can upload the short and then go into the YouTube mobile app and edit it, add a thumbnail. YouTube does note that these thumbnails don't show in the shorts feed. Most people watch shorts in the shorts feed, but the thumbnail will show on your channel. It will show when people are going through their subscription feed or on the home screen. And if you share the short to social media, the thumbnail is what shows. So I think it's a really good update, and I need to go back and change some of my shorts. I think it'll be interesting to see if that makes any difference in getting views. There is no way to do this on desktop. I think YouTube knows some people want to do everything on desktop. It's not clear if that will be available in the future or not. The second update I wanted to talk about today is also for YouTube, but this is for YouTube partners. And sometimes people who are monetizing their YouTube channel with ads see an issue with invalid traffic, and this is not great. YouTube may limit ad serving. YouTube may also withhold or offset any earnings that you've already had distributed to you, because when there's invalid activity on ads, the money goes back to the advertisers, or the advertisers aren't charged in the first place. So YouTube isn't getting any money and you're not getting any money. And this is really frustrating because you may see this notice in your YouTube account, and then the question is, well, what do you do? So there is a new fact. Again, there's a link in this week's newsletter. Basically, it goes through the most common questions. And I think an important thing that's included in the FAQ is that this is not always the fault of the creator. Of course, you're going to have invalid activity if you're asking people to click your ads or watch the pre-rolls over and over or something like that. That is going to be invalid activity. If you buy traffic for your YouTube videos or your channel, that can generate invalid activity. But this also notes that sometimes it's bots, and there's nothing that you can actually do to stop that. So remember that if you see a notice that says, oh, well, you're not getting any more earnings for the time being because of invalid activity, it may not be your fault. It may not be something you can do anything about, but it's not a penalty. This is YouTube balancing the books because they don't get paid for those ads, so you don't get a cut of that advertising revenue. And if you've already been paid and they found out that there was invalid activity a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever, they're going to offset your earnings so that, again, the books balance. The other thing that it talks about is things that are not going to fix the problem. So you get this invalid activity notice. It's not going to help to delete your channel or delete or make unlisted your videos. It's probably not going to help to turn off monetization. So don't panic and do those things. And they also note that things like promotions, embedding videos on other sites or playlists on other sites, or inserting mid-roll ads, none of those things are likely to generate invalid activity. So I know a lot of people get really kind of freaked out by this and they turn off embedding, which means that people who are sharing your videos on other sites, they won't get a preview and stuff. So people actually do things that may reduce their views, reduce their income. And the bottom line is maybe you can't do anything about the invalid activity. It's still an issue. And there is a problem with bots coming and scraping, and it may trigger the ads. Again, that's all invalid. Valid activity is when a real human is interested in the ad and clicks or watches it. So those are things that partners should know. And while I am talking about monetization, there is an update on Twitch. They have updated their ads manager. This makes it easier for partners and affiliates to manage ads. I'm not a Twitch partner myself, so this is just me reading what the announcement is. If any of you are Twitch partners, I'd love to hear what you think of these updates. Basically, they have updated their ads manager so that there's like a slider that lets you set how often ads are inserted into your videos, into your live streams. And they say that partners and affiliates can automatically earn 55% of net ad revenue by running at least 3 ad minutes per hour. So that is sort of the default. 3 ad minutes per hour isn't actually that much if they're inserted in non-disruptive slots. There are other settings. You can make this automatic or manual. You can adjust the ad length and frequency. There's advanced settings. So you can set chat notifications of upcoming ad breaks or snoozing ads during high engagement moments like hype trains. The idea is that this gives creators more control over their ads. So this seems like a good update. And now I'm going to switch back briefly to announcements that YouTube made about tools to protect creators and artists. This is specifically about AI. And I know some folks are really bored about hearing about AI, but it's with us and we've got to deal with it. And this is an issue. when you're talking about not just how AI tools can enhance creativity or replace creativity, but also that they can cause some serious issues. So what YouTube says is that they are working on tools to detect deepfakes. So this is like people who use AI to create a song using a music artist's voice, or create video using a creator's face. So it makes it look like they're doing something. And that YouTube refers back to their content ID system, where that detects actual songs, but they want to have these detection tools so that if someone is creating deep fakes using someone's voice, using someone's face, that can be detected. They also say they do work to try to prevent content scraping by third parties. This has been really controversial because YouTube has tons of content, and there are these AI companies that come and they scrape all the transcripts or the videos, and they use that for training their AI. So YouTube says they're trying to block that. And you think about that, and it's like, okay, that sounds really good. And YouTube's motto here is, we believe AI should enhance human creativity, not replace it. We're committed to working with our partners to ensure future advancements amplify their voices, and will continue to develop guardrails to address concerns and achieve our common goals. Now, partners is an interesting word there. Some of that actually has to do with keeping the music industry happy, because that's where the money is. But hopefully this will be good for regular creators like me, like you guys as well. But I also wanted to note that YouTube did make clear that they are using content on YouTube for training AI tools themselves. They say, as we have for many years, we use content uploaded to YouTube to improve the product experience for creators and viewers across YouTube and Google, including through machine learning and AI applications. We do this consistent with the terms that the creators agree to. So if you look at the YouTube terms, it does specifically say that they can use your content to improve the service. And I think that's what they're saying here. So the things they use it for: powering trust and safety operations. That's like finding spam and harassment and things like that. Improving recommendation systems, and developing new generative AI features like auto dubbing. So this sounds actually not bad, right? Auto dubbing, okay, maybe replacing actors who dub, but for regular creators, this allows, dubbing into other languages, things like that. This is probably not the most controversial use of generative AI. They don't talk about this using to train Gemini or Google's other AI tools. Does that happen? I'm not 100% sure. So this is controversial. I think there's this whole tension between the companies who want to share, oh, cool AI tools, and then people who are writing and making videos and recording songs and doing all these creative works who are saying, hey, don't replace the human creativity. Just give us tools that do the boring parts, that do the tedious parts. And, I think part of the problem for these companies is that tools that do the boring, tedious parts aren't very sexy. So they're great for professionals, but if you say, oh, I've just made the best spell checker or grammar checker ever, that's not as cool sounding as, oh, my AI tool can write a novel. So again, this tension, it's not clear where it's going, but we're going to be hearing more about this. YouTube sounds like it's taking the side of creators. They just want to create tools for people that makes them more creative. Again, we'll see where that's going. Over in the chat, welcome everyone. Good to see you here. I like to hear what you think. Andrew says, real humans are never interested in ads. We merely tolerate them. You know, it's funny you say that. Some people like ads. Like, there are really good creative ads. I'm not sure they actually sell much of anything, but think about, for example, Super Bowl ads, which we actually see kind of all year round now. Some of those are good. Some people watch them. I think it's a challenge for marketers, for advertisers to keep people engaged and interested. But at least on YouTube, almost all of the pre-roll ads, for example, are either very short or you can skip them after 5 seconds. So there are some people who want to try and maximize how much they earn by inserting the maximum number of ads. And I think, like you say, most people don't like ads. It can really be disruptive if you're watching something and it's not inserted in a good point in the video. So hopefully the ads on my videos don't chase people away. I don't actually insert ads while I'm live, but after the video is archived, there will be mid-roll ads. And I think maybe just one time for the length of this video. All righty. I'm going to switch gears a little bit now. So one of the things that's changing right now is social media. Now, X is, I don't know what's happening at X, but Elon Musk is doing his thing. You know, he's using it to hear the sound of his own voice, but people are moving to other platforms. So, for example, X is now banned in Brazil. A lot of the Brazilian users have moved to Blue Sky and other platforms. So the question is, if you're posting, is that visible off the platform? And I think that it's really interesting right now. Google is starting to show more social media posts if you search for a particular person. So I'm going to show you a search. This is a search for Neil Mohan, who is the CEO of YouTube. And if you scroll through the search results, you'll see that there is a section called Latest Posts from Neil Mohan. And hopefully you can see this. It's actually showing posts from multiple platforms. So he has posts from Instagram, from Threads, from Twitter. And if you scroll through, again, there's more posts from Threads and Twitter and so forth. I believe that this will also show sometimes posts from TikTok and from YouTube as well. And this is pretty cool that you can actually see someone across their socials. If you post on social media, this is pretty cool because people can see what you're posting. I experimented with this, searching for different names, and it's not clear to me when Google shows these posts and when they don't. You might need some sort of threshold of followers, or maybe not, because I found posts from some people who are not famous, don't have 1 million followers and so forth. So I don't know how Google is deciding when to show these posts. how it figures out which are the official social media and what they choose to put there. It does look very much like if you don't have a unique name. So if you have a name that lots of other people have, if people do a search, they don't actually show this segment. Kind of makes sense, right? If it's not clear who you are searching for, they're not going to show the latest posts from a whole bunch of different people there. But this is pretty cool. And in particular, it's showing Threads. That's Meta's Twitter-like platform. It's really kind of starting to take off. And it's nice to see that those Threads posts are now in Google search. If you're trying to build an audience, that's really useful. I want to say hi to everyone. I see that Nina is in the house, and Braylon and Jolyn and Craig and Andrew. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's good to see you guys in the chat. And I'm curious what you guys think about the various social media platforms. I think most people have had an X account, but I know for my X account, I'm not really using it that much anymore. I'm posting much more on Threads. And I've noticed that the people I follow on X aren't posting as much anymore. It's kind of declining. So we shall see where everything goes in a year. But I feel like Threads is taking off. Blue Sky is also really interesting, but it's less corporate, if that's the right word. There's a lot of chatter there, but not people promoting things so much, and not brands and businesses. So there we go. The next thing I wanted to mention is, it's another AI thing, okay? But this is a good one. Google Photos has improved their search. So one of the advantages of using Google Photos to store your photos, you can back up automatically from your mobile device, and then you can easily find photos by search. They have improved their search so that you can ask more sort of natural language questions. So you can say, do a search for something. The example is photos of Alice and me laughing, or, photos of this particular person eating, or something like that. So it's easier to find things. They are also launching a new AI tool called Ask Photos. This is like an AI chat. Right now, it's basically in beta. You can sign up for the wait list if you're in the US. And the idea is that you can chat about your photos. So you can say, oh, create a list of all the places I visited when I took a trip to New York, that kind of thing. And then it will list things. Or where did I eat dinner on my birthday? And it will list things. It's interesting sounding. I'm not sure how I would actually use that very often, but Google is sticking their AI things in everywhere. And this seems like an interesting use. They say that your photos won't be used for training outside of Google Photos. You should see the link. Again, check this week's newsletter. There's a link to the privacy policy around this. And obviously, Google needs to use some of this for training to improve how it actually works inside photos, but it's not going to be used for ads or anything like that. And how often would you actually use that to ask, oh, what about this thing? What about that thing? I do search for specific photos and events, but I'm not sure I would chat. We'll see how that goes. And I think one of the things that got to bring up is that Google charges extra for a lot of their AI tools. So you have to have Google One with the special AI add-on. If you're in Google Workspace, there's AI add-ons for that. So are some of these features like Ask Photos, are you going to have a special paid subscription for that? You might. And my understanding is that it's actually really expensive for companies to train these models and offer these AI tools. And that lets me segue into the next update, which is price increases. If you use Canva with teams, they're increasing the prices significantly. This is something they announced a few months ago. They're implementing it now. And you can have a team. I have a free Canva account. It has a team on it that I created, and it's basically, sort of a legacy setting where I can't actually change the team at all, because then they'll start charging me. And the new teams subscriptions are pretty expensive. They are $100 a year per person on the team with a minimum of 3 people. So that's $300 a year. That means I can't ever change the team on my Canva account, because the alternative is $300. It would be from free to $300 a year. That's really expensive. Some people have been paying I think I saw $120 for up to 5 people for a year. Now that's $500. So that's a huge price increase. Canva says it's totally worth it because we've got all these AI features now. The issue is, are people interested enough in the AI features to pay this premium price? And again, we saw this last week as well with StreamYard increasing their prices. So changing all of their different levels, adding new features, and then increasing the price significantly. This seems to be an industry trend, and I think businesses and individuals are going to have to really step back and figure out, what are the important features for me? And is it worth paying for? Businesses are tightening their belts. People have lots of expenses, and at least for someone who's just an individual like me, I can't afford to pay, hundreds of dollars for all these different platforms, because it adds up when you have all this. So this seems to be the way things are going, in part to help pay for these AI tools, some of which people may not even care about that much. I feel like this is maybe a bubble that we're seeing, and it will collapse at some point. But that's where we are today. The last thing I wanted to talk about, really briefly. Andrew says, AI is fine for professionals. For the average hobbyist, it is not worth it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of these are fun, right? You write a text prompt, you get an image back, but it's kind of a gimmick. And I'm not sure I would find it worthwhile to actually pay for this regularly. And some of the features are just not there yet. Things like anything that needs to be fact-based, still not good enough yet. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is an article from Zuli Rain, who is a product storyteller at Medium. She's on the Medium staff. She has a great post about the distribution of Medium posts. So Medium is a blogging platform. It's got social features. They have an algorithmic recommendations. They have human-powered boosts. This is a great overview of how this works and what you can do to try and get more views of your posts, working on titles, selecting topics to add, improving your writing, all those things. If you use Medium, you should definitely check this out. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. Thank you so much for joining me. Immediately after this live stream, I'm on another live stream on eBoard. We're going to talk about using apps to edit videos on mobile devices. So if you use your tablet or your phone to edit videos, you should come over and join us in the chat there. I think it'll be a fun and interesting conversation. And there will be a redirect. As soon as I stop the stream here, it will redirect to the other stream, which will start in maybe 5 minutes or so. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next week.